So, this is how to build creative momentum the right way. So, in 2025, you have basically two options with YouTube. You're either highly professional and very niche, you have your pain points, your copywriting, and your scripts nailed to a specific audience, or you're doing the more casual thing. I'm doing both. I have one channel that's very specific and very niche, and that's for a professional business and a professional service. And then I have this channel. This channel is everything else. It's who I actually am when I'm not on the pursuit of money and when I'm not pursuing self-discipline and trying to be better. This may be the less successful version of me. This may be the version of me that doesn't have the right strategy, but it is the version of me that is saying the capital T truth, not the directional truth. So let's build a metaphor out of that. So business is like a compass. There is a true magnetic north, and that true magnetic north should be set on the service you're providing to your customer. You can even see a product as a service as well. Your service is making a product that fulfills something for somebody, or your service is you're doing something directly, right? So that is your magnetic north as a business. And why do I know this? I've had a chance to build a couple of businesses in my life, very bare bones stuff. But I've had a chance, mostly due to living in the greater South Florida, Miami area, growing up in Los Angeles. You know, in big cities, you have, on one hand, you have a lot of options and it's kind of easier to start businesses and run into people. There's a lot of opportunities, but it's also hard living at the same time. Regardless, no, it doesn't take like a business guru to tell you. Anyone understands that the fundamentals of business is that true magnetic north of your avatar, basically. Where is your business pointing you? And so a lot of the advice on YouTube is to make sure all of your efforts have this kind of true north involved with it. So the smaller your ship is, your ship of content, your ship of ideas, and the more aerodynamic, aquadynamic your messaging is, the faster you can sail yourself to that true north, wherever your true north is for your customer. However, creativity always comes with a storm. And the storms of life, man, they will have such unpredictable setbacks. For me personally, you know, I had to go through a process of experimenting with things like political content, experimenting with things like with too many formats, experimenting with brand new platforms. You know, I was very early on like TikTok, and I didn't listen to my gut about it because for some reason I felt like I was sort of too old for it or something. But more importantly, I listened to like dream killers. I listened to people that told me I was just like an addict, and they were like, "Oh, you're watching these videos, you're making these videos. It's kind of lame, bro." No, what's lame is ever listening to somebody that it doesn't actually have your same goal. So when it comes to watching like YouTube videos for any value, you've got basically two types of value. Like we said, the business value, this kind of true north, that's like something super actionable. That's not necessarily this content. What this content is like vibe value. And so I think you have to be able to cultivate both at the same time. And so the momentum I've gotten lately has come from this particular format, this channel that I'm doing right here, right now. It's like a stretch. It's like a warm-up exercise. It's like a way for me to start flexing my mind so that I'm a lot more limber mentally, so that I can show up with some cultivated chi, some cultivated energy, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just getting reps in and speaking my mind, so that when I go later to make the more honed in, value-driven, educational, promotional videos, I've already gotten out a sense of what I want to say, and so I can more easily say what I need to say. But back to this metaphor of sailing and being shipwrecked. You see, the vibe content is what you rely on in those creative moments when you get shipwrecked, or you don't realize that the true magnetic north actually leads you to areas where you cannot continue sailing directionally north. You have to now sail in a different direction for a little while. And that's in order for you to move forward, in order for you to follow the flow, this kind of water flow of creativity, you will have to deviate course. So as long as you're practicing the raw elements of YouTube creation, which is setting up the camera, setting up the lights, setting up your ability to speak, making sure that you're working on the delivery. And that's all this is. It's just an exercise in public speaking. It's a one-to-one exercise. And it's me speaking to myself so that I have something to look back on in 6 months and a year to know what I was thinking, what ideas mattered to me at that time, so that I know what to teach in the future, that I actually have a record of what I was actually thinking and really feeling behind the scenes. So give yourself that opportunity if you feel like shipwrecked with your content and you've lost your momentum. Well, maybe you need a low stakes channel, who knows, a side brand, a personal brand, whatever you want to call it, that allows you to step outside the circus like rat race of YouTube and just get reps on your personality. Because ultimately you want to be good at IRL conversations. You go to a bar to meet somebody, you go to church to talk with friends, you go to any situation, and it's always a public speaking engagement that's improvised. Like the most important parts of your life when it comes to speaking and communicating are improvised moments where you don't have perfect lighting on you, you don't have the center of attention, and you don't have a script. So at what point have you worked on speaking from your soul and trying to have solid cadence, solid presence? And of course, who has the time to coach you on that other than you? If you don't go back, watch your videos, see what you're doing, get some reflection on how you were speaking. So I don't think people quite realize how valuable it is of an investment in your time to practice improvisational speaking to the camera. You need to get good at that over time. That's its own skill, and it is translatable. It's probably more translatable than this kind of news anchor YouTuber style where you have a teleprompter and you've got the script in front of you, which is not bad. That can be highly professional. But we're not talking about professionalism here. We're talking about self-development. We're talking about, forget even self-development. We're talking about the fundamental social skill that humans are good at that you may be neglecting, which may be why you're shipwrecked with your creativity. Because by far and away, the most unique thing that humans do, let's say just for a moment, we're like animals, right? The most unique thing that we do as animals, like mechanically, I suppose, besides upright walking, but you've got flamingos and ostriches that do that pretty well. We move our mouths and our tongues in this sophisticated way. And it's the one art form that pretty much everybody has to learn is communication. Not necessarily reading, but speaking. Speaking is king. Give yourself a chance to practice that and watch how your ideas will flow more. Good luck, friends.